Hi, I'm James. This is Donna, and we're back to where we started in our first episode of our epic vacation to Italy. Mm-hmm. It's over. We're suffering from jet lag. We can't seem to get up before 9 in the morning. So where did it leave off? Well, our last day was, the typical last day of a trip. We had luggage that we had to leave somewhere. Fortunately, the Airbnb guy didn't have his next guest coming in right away, so he let us leave the luggage there. And then we had to make a decision. Do we go back to the market? Do we just hang around?
But it was rainy and cold again.
Yeah. The story of our vacation was rainy and cold most of the time.
Yeah.
So we wandered a little bit and we decided ultimately to go and get another panini.
Yes.
And it was chilly.
It was. It was the coldest day that we were sitting out there, and it was windy and...
The panini place, whether you've been there one time, whether you've been there 3 times like we had been, you still have to go through the same testing. They need to have an express lane. But we did. We had another panini, which was great. And then, unbeknownst to us, we passed by...
Don Nino's.
Don Nino's.
Don Nino's.
Don Nino.
Nino's.
Don Nino's.
There we go.
And they had homemade cannolis.
Yes. So it was probably good. We only discovered them on the last day. But they were delicious. So we also had one of those. And it was actually because we could go inside. Because the panini place, you can only eat outside. But you had a coffee, and anyway, we were able to be inside for a little while. And we just had time to kill. And we just didn't, we were a bit tired of walking around too.
Yeah. I loved the glass. So night, I've been trying the espressos all over the place. The espresso there was exquisite, and just the heaviest glass of them all. Like, it was this espresso cup that weighed, probably close to this candle. It was great. It was really nice. And just nice delivery of everything. It was cool. Interesting point there. There's a little elevator to go upstairs that people were going upstairs who worked there, and they used it also as a storage locker. So that was interesting, that just full of stuff.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And then we walked back to our place, and we still had a whole hour until the taxi was to arrive. So we did go up, climb the stairs one last time, brought everything down, and just kind of stood outside for 45 minutes.
Yeah, we kind of walked up and down a little bit, and then we just watched people come and go. There was a furniture repair guy across the way. He was hanging out. There were people going to the vintage clothing shop by there. And it's funny, we did all of our taxi reservations with WhatsApp, or you did it all with WhatsApp. And they arrived as planned, and it was actually interesting because right beside us was this little pizzeria that we did not go to.
Right.
And the guys were doing all the deliveries in the morning. So as we were walking by, you could see big, we talked about flowers at Zaza a little bit earlier, big basket full of zucchini flowers there. But it was also interesting because we were also watching some of the delivery trucks navigate these tiny roads, and the fact that they would turn in and back out so they could go down roads was interesting. Or the guy who was delivering to the place next door who hit the wall.
Yeah. So it provided some good entertainment for the last 45 minutes.
Yeah. And then we made our trip to the airport, which is interesting because you go from the old center of town to the new part of the city, which, it's a new part of the city, but it's equally low-rise buildings, and it still has that Florence look.
Sort of. It was, it's kind of weird.
Kind of industrial. And that was that. Well, it was interesting. We went to dinner last night with some friends, the Bradens, and they said, okay, highs and lows. What would you rate as the high point of your vacation, and what would you say was the low point? Low points, we had trouble really picking anything. Oh yeah, weather. Know the weather, and
it wasn't. Yeah.
Chilly, and it was funny because they said chilly by Canadian standards or chilly by UAE standards.
And I said it was 2, and they were like, "Oh, okay, that is chilly."
Yeah. The other side. But the positive side to the weather is this is really a low season in all the places we went. Even the Cinque Terre, they were just opening. Like, this is the low season, so you don't have hustle and bustle of a gazillion people trying to navigate their way through hot and sticky streets. So that was an upside. Downside, you need to pack a nice variety of clothing because it's chilly. So you need layers.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as things we saw, what would you say was one of your favorites?
Nessun Dorma, the restaurant in Cinque Terre, up on the cliff, overlooking that beautiful view. That would have been my favorite.
That was pretty nice. That was really nice.
And I think too, when we had dinner on the Grand Canal in Venice, even though the waiters were grumpy and even though the food wasn't great, it was just...
It was the Grand Canal.
Exactly.
and there was a light rain coming down a little bit. And
I mean, how fortunate are you to be able to do something like that?
I think it was that grocery store, right? In Venice, that grocery store that was an old theater.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was pretty incredible. And, I think when I look at, the Cinque Terre and Venice and Florence, I think for me, Florence was the place. Even though it was so touristy, even though it was full of people, it was something about Florence.
Well, to the point that we were very interested by the Medici family because we saw their whole chapel on the last day. And then they were pretty much the rulers of Florence way back. And then I was interested in that perfume of Catherine de Medici. And so I said to James, there's got to be, someone's had to have made a TV show or a movie. And I get online, and of course, there's a whole Netflix. It's called Medici. and so we're watching it. And so that's how actually intrigued we were and enjoyed that part that now we're watching the Netflix show.
And going to the Medici,
which is very good.
It is. And the Medici crypt, I think for me that was just, look, there's so much to see and things we didn't even go to that people say, oh, did you go to the Galileo Museum?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't go there. So,
well, there's so many museums in Florence that we didn't go to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a
we didn't
city
even make it to
of
the bridge.
No, we didn't. But you know what? It's not even on, I don't know, it's never on the...
Must go to thing.
No.
Yeah.
So...
Next time.
Yeah.
So it was a great trip. Flight home, well, flight home was flight home.
It was good.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It was uneventful. I think that the funnest part though was the flight out of Florence where the captain, he wanted to get out of there. We figure he had a dinner date or something. He needed to get home.
It was a little crazy.
If you're, so we talked about highs and lows, recommendations for anyone if they're planning a trip like this?
Everything we did.
Yeah. Follow along. We should post up our itinerary. We'll take a picture and post it. Share it with people. Plan, read the reviews of things, do what you can do online. I think the message from everything that we did is there's so much available online that, plan accordingly, make your advance reservations for your museums, etc. And what we did with the eSIM so that we had 10 gigs of data, that was a good thing.
Yeah, it was way too much. But there's, I guess we could have gotten a SIM card there. But I found this eSIM that you just download onto your phone. Super easy to use, super cheap. That was what got me. And that worked.
And it was
really
fast, and it worked,
yeah.
And we were always tuned in with data. So depending on your data plan, wherever you are, that might be an
good to
option.
have. It was just easier to get around, and we did use it quite a bit.
We did, and
even booking tickets on the spot, like when we wanted to go to the Santa Croce Church.
That's right.
Yeah, we were on the hop on, hop off, and as we were having our panini, we booked tickets to that. So, like James said, because everything's online now, it's just so much easier to book right away, and then you don't have to wait in these massive lineups, which is nice.
Yeah, totally worth it. So do it, check it out. And hey, thanks very much for following along on this trip with us. It's been fun having you as company. It's been fun to give you the updates, and I hope we've inspired you to make your trip to Italy as well. I'm James. This is Donna. What do you say? Ciao.